I'm John Walsh, and I've dedicated my entire life to locking up the worst criminals. Since 1988, we've caught 1,191 fugitives.
We're tracking down one of the most ruthless gangs of lawbreakers we've ever gone after,
including several of the FBI's most wanted. And we've reunited dozens of missing children with their families. But the job continues, and this time, my son Callahan joins the fight. With your help, we're gonna put more low-life criminals behind bars, including these that you'll see tonight. Up first, Cesar Colin brutally stabbed his girlfriend after she decided to end their relationship. See how some inventive and heroic police work piece this crime together. Next, police say Aaron Paul Victory is a career criminal with a rap sheet a mile long. His last known crime was escaping from jail after being arrested on gun charges. And finally, two sisters in Florida created a viral campaign on social media to find a suspected child predator, their own father. America's Most Wanted is the original true crime series. You can run, but you can't hide. Hello, everybody. I'm John Walsh.
And I'm Callahan Walsh.
And this is America's Most Wanted. We're back tonight with a whole new batch of fugitives that really need to be brought to justice. And with your help, we can do exactly that.
We have an incredible team of investigators with both local and state police and the FBI ready for your tips. Call 866-AMW-TIPS or go to amwtips.com. Remember, no tip is too small, and we promise you can remain anonymous.
In the early morning of November 20th, 2016, authorities got a 911 call from an unidentified woman. They didn't know who or why she was calling, but her screams from the other end of the line made it obvious that she really needed help, and quick. With some keen detective work, the police discovered her location and snapped into action. Wait until you see this heroic story play out.
I've been in policing a long time, almost 30 years. As a police officer, a domestic disturbance, we also refer to those as family violence. Those are some of the most dangerous situations an officer can respond to. Many officers throughout the country have lost their lives responding to these types of cases. On the night of the attack, Colleen, our suspect, was the boyfriend of Gloria. They had been out. She had made a decision that she did not want to remain in the relationship.
November 20th, 2016, Colleen and Gloria had arrived home in the early morning hours. Gloria was not feeling well, so Colleen became upset because she refused to have sex with him. Colleen began taking Gloria's clothes off. She repeatedly told him no. Colleen told her if she called 911, he would kill her, except she had already called 911 at that point.
911, what's your emergency?
And then he hears the dispatcher's voice on the other end of that phone. It appears, and that's when he begins his attack and stabs her multiple times. The 911 dispatcher could not ascertain what exactly was going on, but she did hear a female screaming for help.
911, white settlement.
At some point while being stabbed, Gloria was able to get Colleen off of her and eventually made her way outside into the neighbor's home. Colleen had taken Gloria's phone away from her and ran out the back door with both Gloria's phone and the bloody knife to the neighboring street, where he dropped both the phone and the knife, and we believe that he fled the area.
Hello?
Luckily, the phone was able to stay connected, and the 911 dispatcher heard everything.
All units responding. You copy?
About 6:15 a.m., I was dispatched to an open 911 call. In my 12 years of law enforcement, I've never seen a case as heinous as this one.
What's the address again? Within 16 meters of Whitney Drive. It was a female for me. Okay. You didn't get any information? Oh, no, I didn't get anything past description.
As the officers get into the area, it was very challenging because we didn't have an address. But because we had an open 911 call, we're assuming if we find the phone, we're going to find the victim. The dispatcher became very creative and decided to direct officers based upon the sounds being heard on the open 911 call through the 911 system. We had officers that would honk their horn so that they could determine, based upon the dispatcher, whether those sounds were getting louder or not.
I remember asking if she could hear dogs barking and what we could hear and trying to compare it, and it was very similar to playing Marco Polo.
As they got closer, those sounds were getting louder, and the officers were getting closer to where we believe the victim may be.
There's the phone right there. There's the phone, there's a knife.
Bloody knife.
Oh, lovely.
So now that the officers have the phone, the knife that are both covered in blood, the questions on officers' mind at this time is, where is the victim and where's the attacker?
When we respond to domestic violence calls, dispatch checks what we call a premise history. So the dispatcher started checking the area where the phone was pinging, and that led us to this location which had 2 prior domestics.
61, I'm gonna have a fairly massive amount of blood in the front doorway and sidewalk. Police!
Now, those police officers and the 911 operator were really quick on their feet. It goes to show you what they're willing to do to save a life.
Yeah, when you dial 911, it doesn't send a pin of your exact location to authorities. The information that a 911 dispatcher receives can place you anywhere from 50 to 300 yards away from where you actually are. And 300 yards is about 3 football fields, which is a pretty big difference, especially in an emergency.
Now, when we returned, the police had found the victim's cell phone, but could they find the victim? We'll talk to 2 of the sergeants on duty that night. Plus, convicted criminal Aaron Paul Victory had managed to escape out of state prison not once, but twice. And in 2017, he was behind bars again and was about to escape for the 3rd time. And later, a pair of brazen thieves break into a used car dealership, stealing 2 cars worth tens of thousands of dollars from this family-owned business. Now, stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to America's Most Wanted. As we saw before the break, the White Settlement, Texas police had arrived on the scene to find a cell phone, a bloody knife, and a massive amount of blood. But they still needed to find the victim and her attacker. But what they decided to do next was really amazing.
I hear a faint female voice to my right. I grab my flashlight, look over, and I see a massive amount of blood on the front of another home 2 doors down, and a woman slumped beneath the door, not moving. Officer Tibbet arrives with me at the front of the house, assists with putting a tourniquet on Gloria's arm where she'd been stabbed in the artery and lost a massive amount of blood.
As Gloria is in and out of consciousness, she calls out her attacker's name.
Cesar what?
So with officers now having a name of Gloria's attacker, they find a truck parked in front of her original residence.
Henry Nora King 4357, Henry Nora King 4357.
They run the plates, and it comes back to Cesar Colleen, but he was nowhere to be found. Gloria was brought to a local hospital in critical condition. Officer Brown confirmed with medical staff that Gloria had 5 deep, critical stab wounds and was currently in surgery.
The next step was to clear the house.
Police department! 61, we cleared the house in the backyard. Holy cow. Yeah. Stabbed her in the bedroom, it looks like. Yeah.
They clear the house. They determine there is no other victims and the suspect is at large. The good news in this case is that she made a full recovery.
The fact that our 911 dispatcher worked with our team of officers to direct them to the phone,
which was found in only a few minutes within a 1-mile radius, is what saved Gloria's life.
Stay with me, Gloria, okay?
Unfortunately, we were never able to find where the suspect was located. Investigators believe that the fugitive escaped back to Mexico based on several interviews with the victim, people that knew Cesar. There's a level of frustration that creeps in on calls like this because he's still out there. We absolutely believe the suspect is still very dangerous. And so that's why it's so important that we get extra eyes and ears on this case. We asked viewers to look at the photographs that we have at the time. We are really optimistic that somebody knows something that can lead us to Cesar Colin. Do the right thing and give us the call that we need so that we can bring justice to Gloria.
It was the clever thinking of that 911 dispatcher and the White Settlement Police that saved that victim's life. Two of the sergeants that were on duty are here with us tonight, Sergeant Lana Cook and Sergeant John Banner.
Great to have you guys here.
Thank you for having us.
This is a story with a happy ending, but not such a happy start. You know how urgent it is to find this lady. What are you thinking about while all this is happening?
We see a massive amount of blood. A 911 call had come in. I've got a horribly injured woman, and we don't know if the suspect is around us, if he's in the area. Are there any other victims inside the house? And what more resources we can get on scene to get it figured out.
Now you're thinking all the calculating stuff. What were you thinking emotionally?
We don't know where this person is, and it can be frightful not knowing what you're going to enter, what you're going to see, what you're going to find. The tragedy of what, you know.
Might have a very bad ending.
Yes, exactly. Domestic violence is a very serious situation to be in, and it only gets worse.
Once it begins, it does not stop, and these guys are cowards for what they do.
Real cowards. You know, people say, oh, it's just an argument between the boyfriend, girlfriend, and it's not. It's very violent for the responding cops, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
It's full of emotion and super unpredictable. It's also one of the most common calls that we go to.
So you risk your life every day you roll out. And what would it mean to you guys, the 911 operator, and especially to the victim who is still looking over her shoulder? If we caught this guy, what would that mean to all you guys?
It'd mean a great deal. I believe she would not be living in fear anymore, and just to see justice would be a great value to her.
It's a representation that people who do these things are not going to get away with it, and that people do have resources to reach out, and people will help.
I want to thank you and the 911 operator for helping this victim. You probably saved her life, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Glad to.
Colleen is wanted for first-degree aggravated assault. He's now 38 years old with black hair and brown eyes. He's 5'7", and when last seen, weighed 175 pounds. We have an AMW age progression of what Cesar Colin might look like today. Now, this stabbing occurred in White Settlement, Texas. And while authorities know that Cesar Colin has family in Grand Prairie, Texas, they do believe he fled to Mexico following this attack. Please send us your tips. Whether you're here in the U.S. or our friends in Mexico, every tip gets us one step closer to catching this guy. Don't forget, we guarantee you can remain anonymous. Call us or go to our site, 866-AMW-TIPS or amwtips.com. You can run, but you can't hide.
Next up, Aaron Paul Victory, a convicted career criminal with a really long list of priors, including not one, not two, but 3 charges for escaping imprisonment. Now we need your help to catch him. And later on, an alleged sexual offender is outed on social media by his very own daughter.
This man is a vile human.
We'll speak to her and her sister about their work to get justice for his victims. But first, also throughout the show, we'll be spotlighting local crimes from all over the U.S., perhaps even from your own community. Can you help us solve this one? Unbelievable surveillance video of 2 thieves breaking into a used car dealership in Goshen, Ohio. It happened at Upscale Auto, located at 6991 Thompson Road. Watch as one of the suspects seems to be on a cell phone call, and we're about to find out who's on the other end of the line. But first, the suspect sneaks around the back of the dealership, spots his literal window to opportunity, and breaks it, ripping out the blinds. The second suspect shows up, and suspect 1 jumps in the window, squeezes his way through, and grabs numerous car keys off the rack, handing them off to his dirtbag buddy who's waiting outside. These two creeps managed to steal 2 BMWs, a 2013 BMW 5 Series and a 2014 4 Series, worth tens of thousands of dollars from this family-owned small business. So if you know anything about this incident or recognize these suspects, please contact us immediately, 866-AMW-TIPS or amwtips.com. Welcome back to America's Most Wanted. You know, Aaron Paul Victory is the kind of criminal who just won't quit, proving time and time again that he simply refuses to obey the law. Whether it's his mile-long rap sheet or his multiple jailbreaks, this guy is desperate, and for years has been a thorn in the side of every law enforcement officer in Oklahoma.
Aaron Paul Victory is a career criminal who is armed and dangerous and currently on the run in southeastern Oklahoma. He's got 24 charges and 15 convictions, ranging from grand larceny to burglary, false imprisonment, to escape from confinement.
The rough and tough life of Aaron Victory could be accumulated back to his father. You didn't mess with Johnny Victory. Back in 1987, Aaron Victory was a small child, hid back behind the couch when Johnny Victory was murdered. I'm sure it did play some role in his mental state throughout his life.
And it wouldn't be long before Victory began his life of crime. Back in 2006, while serving his sentence for grand larceny, Aaron Paul Victory escaped from prison while picking up trash. This wasn't the last time Victory would defy the law. He actually committed more crimes in the years to come, including gun charges, eluding a police officer, and escaping from jail a second time in 2012. On the morning of December 27, 2016,
911, what's your emergency?
Aaron Paul Victory committed a residential burglary. Responding officers, Sheriff Park and Inspector Epley, catch a lucky break when they see 2 men acting suspicious near the crime scene.
On the way there, this pickup pulls out. There were 2 male subjects in it, and he just kept glaring at us.
I turned on my lights, and at that point, they just took off.
There was a quick chase of 5 to 6 miles before Victory turned onto an access road. And the chase continued.
I see Mr. Aaron Victory come out with a pistol, so I shoot a round off from my rifle.
Victory took off, disappears into the trees and brush, and he escaped. I go around and remove Rocky Duncan at gunpoint.
Mr. Victory grew up in a very rugged environment, avid outdoorsman, enjoys staying out in the woods for an extended period of time. So I radioed for additional units to come help.
All units responding.
We are on the east end of Choctaw-McCurtain County line. Anything north or south was wooded area.
We're talking about an 800 square mile area full of dense trees and brush. Victory grew up here. He knows the area well. He's a lifelong criminal who is armed and dangerous, a threat to everyone in the vicinity.
We called in every available neighboring agency. We had several locations that were searched with no luck. We were able to get search warrant for cell phone locations, started piecing together who this man would call, where he would go. Ended up, we were able to locate him in Antlers, Oklahoma, about 30 miles north.
It didn't take long for the family or the people of Choctaw-McCurtain County area to know that Mr. Victory was on the run.
Hands up, Victory, let's go, come on!
around 11 p.m. at a distant relative's home in Antlers, Oklahoma, 37-year-old Aaron Paul Victory was arrested. But he wouldn't be behind bars for long. You can't deny that Victory was a smart guy and has spent his whole life in and out of the system. But I'll tell you, Cal, these guys will do anything to get out of prison. Think about Alcatraz. Way back in '62, those guys made fake heads out of paper mache to trick the guards so they could make a run for it.
It is fascinating, but it's not as easy to escape jails and prisons nowadays. In fact, there was a study done by the Prison Journal that said 92% of prison jailbreaks are actually unsuccessful.
But that doesn't mean there isn't a lot of them. Escapes happen every single day. They're much more common than you'd think. It's not always as sensational as you see on TV or maybe in the movies, but a lot of times it can be a guy walking right out of a low-security jail. And on that note, a special alert to correctional officers. We found several of America's most wanted fugitives because of you. Victory could be easily incarcerated right now under an alias, so be on the lookout. When we come back, we'll learn more about Victory's next skillful escape and speak to a survivalist to give you the information you'll need to look out for him. And later, a 67-year-old Vietnam vet is robbed of his entire life savings in the middle of the night. Can you help us catch the men behind it? But right now, it's time for another look back at the AMW vault and one of my all-time favorite captures, John List. This absolute monster killed his entire family and was on the run for over 18 years until we featured him right here on America's Most Wanted. Watch this.
To many, John List was a most unlikely murder suspect. He was a college-educated accountant and a father of 3 who taught Sunday school. But when List lost his job and he couldn't pay the bills, family pressures started piling up. On November 9th, 1971, he systematically executed his entire family, his wife, his 3 children, and his own mother. For 18 years, the police had no idea where he was. We decided to try something that had never been done. We asked forensic sculptor Frank Bender to create a bust of what an elderly John List might look like. On May 21st, 1989, we aired the gruesome story of John List. And after 18 years on the run, you caught List in just 11 days. The bust was a perfect match.
And with your help tonight, I know we can bust even more of these lowlifes. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to America's Most Wanted. Aaron Paul Victory was a career criminal, willing to do whatever it took to avoid serving time, even pulling a gun on the Choctaw County sheriffs before his last arrest in late 2016. Soon after, he was incarcerated again. But again, he wouldn't be there for long.
A few months after being arrested, on February 17th of 2017, a federal warrant was issued for Victory for being a felon in possession of a firearm and possessing a stolen firearm.
Victory pled guilty in federal court. Then on May 10th, 2017, Victory was extradited back to Choctaw County, where he was charged with the initial state crimes of second-degree burglary and grand larceny in Choctaw County District Court. But unfortunately, the jail's dorm was no match for Victory.
He was able to etch out the sealant in the glass, and then he was able to squeeze through, it wasn't 10 inches wide, into a recreational area.
He tore up sheets, which he tied in knots and used as a makeshift rope.
There was actually an old school lunchroom table. So Mr. Victory flipped it up on its end and used the seats to climb up. There was a box that had Christmas lights. So Mr. Victory took those lights and was able to throw them up and get it hooked around one of the bars. And it was just strong enough, he was able to crawl up and went right through a 30-foot tall skylight.
Aaron Paul Victory has proven to be resourceful, clever, and agile, but also extremely dangerous. and he's willing to do anything to survive.
I really think that someone along the way had picked him up, family or something like that, because it didn't take long before he's gone.
U.S. Marshals were on site in Choctaw County trying to run down leads, but Victory has almost 40 years of knowledge of that area. We have reason to believe that Victory is hiding out on tribal land in Oklahoma, living off the land and probably getting help from family and friends.
The original charge had him committing an armed robbery and then pointing a weapon at police officers. So he is still considered armed and dangerous. Because Victory has been escaped since 2017, he's had about 6 years to get into a routine. So we're hoping that he might be getting a little sloppy now and that we might be able to capture him. He's a danger to the community.
Victory is a career criminal. The longer he's on the run, the more crimes he could commit, putting innocent people in danger.
He's been on the run 6 years. That's got to take a toll on somebody because you can never let your guard down all the way. So complacency is a killer. Eventually, he will make a mistake. He's got to be right every time. We only have to be right once.
We're now joined by backcountry skills expert Craig Cottle. Thanks for being here, Craig.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
I hope to learn a lot from you. Okay, what do you teach people?
I teach people how to be in the outdoors safely and how to do survival and tracking.
Victory had 15 prior convictions and did spend time in prison. What are some of the parallels between prison life and staying alive out in the wild?
Well, I think the big thing is problem solving, critical thinking. He's already demonstrated that he knows how to solve problems with minimal resources. That's survival at its best right there.
Mm-hmm. How long do you think he could be out there alone?
I spent 30 days in the woods with nothing but a knife. And the second time I did it, I nearly starved to death.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult for him to live off the land like we have this romantic version that people can do that.
No.
It's nearly impossible without extensive training or support from others.
You've been in many areas like this.
I have.
Some of the guys I've profiled stayed out there a long time by breaking into cabins with eating canned food or good bottled water in there. Are there enough cabins around in that area or campsites?
It seems like every time a news story like this happens where somebody's been living off the land, they've been doing exactly that. They've actually been taking supplies, stealing supplies, or being supported by other people with supplies to make it happen.
Right.
Let's say he is existing out there alone. What are some of the public places where he might be spotted?
Behind a restaurant, behind a convenience store, in the bathroom of a convenience store, anywhere where he can go and get clean water.
Right.
Where he can go find the food. Food is not necessarily a survival need real quickly, but we all want it rather quickly because we're used to eating on a daily basis. So he'll be going to places like that to find food and water.
I know several guys we've hunted down in the wilderness. They usually came in, they were starving or they were sick. That's how we caught them.
We as a species need the same thing. All of us need the same thing. He needs safety and security, shelter, water, and food. Whether he finds that in the environment or whether he gets that support from an urban or suburban area is going to be up to him.
Well, thanks for being with us.
Thank you
for all
for
the tips.
letting me be here. Absolutely.
I hope our viewers can take your advice
I
and
hope they
keep
do
their
too.
eyes peeled for this dirtbag.
Aaron Paul Victory is 6 feet 2 inches tall with brown hair and brown eyes. When he was last seen, Victory weighed around 200 pounds. Victory is now 45 years old and heavily tattooed. He has tattoos on his arms, back, and left shoulder. Check out how distinctive the ones are on his right arm and right leg. He also has visible scars on his head and right cheek. We have an AMW age progression of Victory and what he may look like today, and another one with a beard, which he may be wearing to hide his features. Victory escaped from Choctaw County Jail in Hugo, Oklahoma, but he has ties to McCurtain County in Oklahoma as well, where his ex-wife lives. Recently, investigators have reason to believe that Victory could also be hiding out on tribal land in Oklahoma. There have also been sightings of him in Mississippi and in Oregon, where his relatives live. Do not approach Aaron Paul Victory if you see him. Instead, please call us or go to our site immediately, 866-AMW-TIPS or at amwtips.com. You can always remain anonymous.
Next up, the daughter of an alleged sex offender finds out about her father's charges and takes a stand on social media.
This man is a vile human.
Have you seen this creep, Davy Albaron? But now, We need your help to solve this crime alert. Heartbreaking footage of a robbery that took place at an elderly veteran and his bedridden wife's home in Sacramento earlier this month. Around 1 a.m., two masked gunmen kick in Marine Vietnam vet Marlon Harris's door on the 6600 block of Pomegranate Avenue with their firearms drawn. These dirtbags know right where they're going, Harris's bedroom, to grab a safe containing his entire life savings. They make him kneel on the ground with his hands up and a gun pointed at his head so that they can grab the safe, containing over $36,000 in cash. Every penny that Harris and his wife had saved and were going to use to pay for their extensive health care bills. It's the healthcare workers, a rotating staff of caregivers, according to Harris, who were the only ones outside of him and his wife that knew about the safe. Now take another good look at them. One of the suspects appears to have a tattoo on his arm. Look familiar? If you know anything about this horrible burglary or live in the Sacramento area and recognize these men or their voices, call us or send us your tips immediately. Welcome back to America's Most Wanted. You know the #1 goal for AMW is to find fugitives, but also to find as many missing children as we possibly can. Sharing the names and faces of these little ones can save their lives, plain and simple. So, this week, we need your help to find 4-year-old Stephen Bryant. His last known location was Indianapolis, Indiana, on June 9th, 2022. Stephen has light brown hair and dark blue eyes. When he was last seen, he was about 3 feet tall and weighed about 35 pounds. Authorities believe that Stephen could currently be in Bedford or Mooresville, Indiana. So if you've seen Stephen Bryant, call us or send us your tips at 866-AMW-TIPS or amwtips.com. Let's get this little boy home where he belongs. Cal, what's our next case?
In 2022, Anna Alberon found out her father was on the run after being charged for sexual battery, lewd and lascivious molestation, and child abuse with 2 minor victims. Anna took to social media to share her family's story and to ask for the public's help in finding her dad so his victims can get the justice they deserve. Her post went viral, getting the attention of people across the country, including everyone here at America's Most Wanted. We're going to talk with Anna and her sister, but first, watch this.
2 sisters in Florida are using social media to create a viral campaign to capture an alleged child predator that they know all too well.
So this is my father. He's Osceola's most wanted for his crimes against kids.
When his last victim came out, who happened to be my daughter, everything came out.
So I found out last year that my father hurt my niece. I got upset and I posted this on Facebook. Like, in a matter of hours, this was viral.
Their efforts have been so successful that even the local sheriff's department is joined in on the viral campaign.
It's the Osceola County Sheriff's Office. We have a warrant for Davey Alberan for his arrest for the acts that he did against 2 young girls. Thank God for the courageous acts of coming forward to help us get this scumbucket off the streets for what he did.
I just want to give a big thank you to everyone who's been helping us and supporting us and donating to either the billboard, sharing and reposting our videos, spreading the word and keeping an eye out and sending in tips. Like, that means a lot to my family and I.
This man is a vile human, and I feel like because I'm his oldest and I'm his first, I need to find him. Like, there's just something in my soul that will not stop until I do. Because all I care about is finding my dad.
Davey Alberon's beautiful daughters, Anna and John Ady, are with us. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
You are so brave. You are so brave and tough. First, let's start at the beginning. How did you find out?
So I actually got a phone call from my sister, and she told me that my child had said that Davey had been sexually abusing her the last few months, and my heart dropped.
What did you think?
I was devastated. My dad was my best friend, and I couldn't believe that he did that.
Horrible nightmare.
Yeah.
Horrible nightmare.
As a father, you're supposed to protect your
Hell
family.
yes. Hell
You're supposed to
yes.
protect your family, not supposed to harm them.
How difficult was it for you to discover this information about your father?
The most heartbreaking thing I've ever had to deal with in my life. I had to be strong for my child while I was breaking down, you know, on the inside. Every day I'd be crying. I couldn't even tell her till days later because I felt like I failed my child, you know? And I just didn't even know how to speak up about it out loud. I couldn't believe that I was going through something like this. I couldn't believe my child was dealing with something like this.
Do you think there could be other victims out there potentially?
I think possibly there is, because when I posted him on social media, I was flooded with DMs of other people that allegedly said that he had also victimized them as children. Like, my worst nightmare is that I don't catch him in time and then he hurts someone else.
What a coward. You're way braver than him, way stronger.
Thank you so much.
And his daughter, she was so happy, her child. She's like, we did it. Like, when she knew he was sorry.
Literally the night before we came out here, she was just so happy that we were even gonna be on the show.
What would you want to say to him?
How dare you? How dare you? I trusted you with what was most precious to me, and you betrayed my trust. You traumatized my child for the rest of her life. You know, I just turn yourself in. That's all I can say. Turn yourself in. We're not gonna stop.
I'm a grandfather. We decided to do this. He's on my personal top 10, and I never quit. We never quit. We'll catch that dirt bag, I guarantee. And then he's gonna pay. He's gonna pay.
Thank
but
you.
I gotta tell you, I am so impressed by your strength. My wife always said to me, remember who the real victim is, your daughter.
Yeah.
You gotta fight for her. We're gonna get him. You'll get your justice.
Thank you so much.
God bless.
Thank you.
Davy Albaran is a 51-year-old Hispanic male with brown eyes and black hair. He's 6'1", and when last seen, weighed 220 pounds.
Now, he's got many identifying features, so please take a good, hard look at this lowlife. He's got a big scar on his left thumb from when he cut the tip of his finger off, another scar above his left eyebrow on his forehead, a scar on the top of his left hand, as you see here in these pictures, a very distinct vein under his left eye, crooked teeth. The front four of his upper teeth go inward. And he also has a strong New York accent, and he speaks Spanish.
Now let's take a look at the map and see the possible places he could be hiding. According to his daughters, he's known to frequent St. Cloud, Florida, where he's being charged, as well as Kissimmee, Florida. His last reported sighting was in November 2023 in Lakeland, Florida. Davy Albaran also has a lot of family in Puerto Rico, specifically the areas of Ponce and San Lorenzo.
Let's find this coward scumbag. So if you've seen Davy Albaran or have any information about this case, for our friends here and our friends in Puerto Rico and beyond, please contact us now at 866-AMW-TIPS or at amwtips.com. I guarantee you, I'll say it again, I guarantee you can remain anonymous. Just have the courage to make that call and make these kids' lives better. When we return, a recap of all the dangerous fugitives that we discussed tonight. But right now, can you help us solve this local crime alert? 5 thieves stealing up to $250,000 in luxury goods during a brazen afternoon robbery at a Chanel store in Washington, D.C. last December. It happened at the City Center, D.C. on I Street Northwest at around 5:30 p.m. Here are the suspects entering the store from all different directions. 2 are dropped off by this white sedan, possibly a Mercedes. One of the men is carrying a fire extinguisher, which he uses to spray an armed security officer on duty. As they make their way in, the suspects ransack the shelves, grabbing as many handbags as they can. The suspects then flee the scene, but surveillance captured a clear image of one of them. Look familiar? Then do the right thing and contact us immediately. 866-AMW-TIPS or amwtips.com. Remember, you can run, but you can't hide. Two robberies almost 5 months apart, happening in the same Spanish Fort supermarket, and authorities have reason to believe they're connected. The incidents took place at the Publix at 10179 Eastern Shore Drive. Here's a shot of the 2 female suspects who police believe were involved. Watch closely as the one in peach follows an elderly victim, boldly snatching her wallet out of her purse, just inches from the victim's face. Over $5,000 worth of prepaid gift cards were purchased at a nearby Sam's Club. And the shady suspects are at it again, just weeks ago on January 20th around 10:40 a.m. This time it's 2 females and 1 male suspect. They walk close to the victim, and while the male suspect distracts her, the other goes for her wallet. This time, charging the victim's credit card for over $2,000. Police believe this woman was part of both incidents, but that all of the suspects are part of a larger ring of thieves in the area. So if any of these dirtbags look familiar, call us or go to our site right now. Now, if you know anything about any of the fugitives you've seen tonight, please have the courage to do the right thing and contact us immediately. Cesar Colleen is now 38 years old with black hair and brown eyes. He's 5'7", and when last seen, about 175 pounds. He's wanted for first-degree aggravated assault and is considered extremely dangerous. Authorities believe he fled to Mexico, but he still could be somewhere in Texas.
Aaron Paul Victory escaped the Choctaw County Jail in Hugo, Oklahoma in 2017. He's 6'2" with brown hair and brown eyes. When he was last seen, Victory weighed around 200 pounds. He's now 45 years old. He not only has visible scars on his head and right cheek, he's also heavily tattooed.
He has tattoos on his arms, back, and left shoulder. Check out how distinctive the ones are on his right arm and right leg.
He's considered armed and very dangerous.
Davy Albaran is a 51-year-old Hispanic male with brown eyes and black hair. He's 6'1", and when last seen, weighed 220 pounds. His last known location was Lakeland, Florida. He's got many identifying features: a big scar on his left thumb, another scar above his left eyebrow on his forehead, a scar on the top of his left hand, a very distinct vein under his left eye that is always visible. His top 4 teeth are angled inward, and he has a strong New York accent and speaks fluent Spanish.
These guys really aren't anyone to mess with. If you see them, do not approach them. Call us or go to our site now, 866-AMW-TIPS or amwtips.com. There's no time to waste. Please, if you know something, give us that call.
Coming up next week, the mysterious disappearance of a Michigan man left his friends and family desperately looking for him and looking for answers. The victim's body and the suspect are still nowhere to be found, over 20 years later. On an all-new America's Most Wanted next week, we dive into this cold case with Up and Vanished podcaster Payne Lindsay in studio to try to bring this victim the justice he so deserves.
I'm Callahan Walsh.
And I'm John Walsh. And thank you so much for watching. And remember, please, you can make a difference. Good job tonight.